Hello everyone and welcome to this webinar. Today we are here to see the new manufacturing features of the intermediate versions 18.1, 0.2 and 0.3. I'm Lucas, I am a manufacturing expert and business analyst here at Odoo Belgium, and today I'm glad to share the presentation with Mathieu Germain, who is the product owner of our manufacturing apps. So I will start giving a demonstration about the new features in manufacturing and shop floor. And then during the demonstration, feel free to send your questions because we close with a Q&A with Mathieu. A little reminder before we start, it's very important that you understand these features are in 18.1, 0.2 and 0.3, and all of them will be part of version 19. Version 19 will be officially released now in September. So between today and September, there will be also other features, but I really encourage you and invite you to come to the Odoo Experience, which is the official event that we have to launch the new version, not only to learn about the new manufacturing features, but mainly about all other apps. And this year, we also have some master classes, including manufacturing, so I really encourage you to come and participate if you want to learn more about the apps. Also important to mention, if you cannot come, of course, the event is broadcasted, so you can follow the talks live on YouTube. And if you cannot even watch them, so there is no excuse to not learn because you can find all the talks on our official YouTube channel. And then you can catch up and learn everything that you need about Odoo 19. Last but not least, these intermediate versions, they are available only on SaaS, okay? So if you created your database using odoo.com a couple of months ago, you are probably in version 18.1 or 0.2. And if you created it recently, you are in 18.3. The ones that are using Odoo SH, you are for sure in version 18.0, which is the main version. Then you would benefit from these new features only when you upgrade to version 19. Okay, then let's go. Here, you might be asking, where is 18.1? Just to mention that most of the features are in 18.3 and 0.2. 18.1 was more about bug fixes, code cleaning, some improvements in terms of performance. This is why here you see only 0.2 and 0.3. Let's start. The first new feature that I want to show is something super nice, which is the possibility to customize the lot number or the serial number per product. Let me show you here directly in the database. Let's take, for example, here in manufacturing orders, if I want to produce a tabletop, I confirm. Then, as the tabletop is a product tracked by serial number, when I click here on new, see that Odoo creates a completely different sequence as it was before. Before it was only a chain of characters, a numerical sequence, but now if we open the tabletop, let's understand the configuration I've done here. In the inventory tab, you find this new field, and I customized in the way I wanted, just to say, okay, the first three positions, it's just 3 characters, fur to represent furniture. Then I added here also the year, the month, and then I have the sequence of characters to come after. This is for the tabletop. For another product, I could create a completely different way to generate these lots or serial numbers automatically. This is super nice and gives a lot of possibilities in the database. Now, the second point is about user experience. There is a difference now in the bill of materials, so the field highlight consumption is no longer there. And we also made the field deadline editable in the manufacturing order. So if we come back here to the manufacturing I just created, see that by default, as I created this manufacturing order manually, the deadline is empty. Sometimes you have a deadline computed. For instance, when you create a sales order, this sales order triggers the manufacturing order. Depending on the delivery dates and the lead times, Odoo will calculate the deadline. But if you have other manufacturing orders that were not created following this logic of make to order, then you would end up with some orders with deadline, some orders without deadline. So this is now much easier to manage because I can come here and say, okay, my deadline is this Friday. And for planning purposes, this is super important because see, I could come here from the list view, for instance, and select the deadline to be visible. And I can group by the deadline, and based on the orders where I have a short deadline, I can prioritize and do all my planning. So it's a small change, but it's something very important because facilitates a lot the process of planning our production. And as I said here, when we go to the bill of materials, I mentioned that we removed the field highlight consumption, so it's much easier now. If you want to have your component displayed when you are using the shop floor, for instance, to force the operator to validate that quantity, you simply select here in which operation you want to display this component. It was already here before, the consumed in operation, but it was also working together with highlight consumption, so it was a bit confusing. Then we kept it as much simple as possible. All right, then let's move on. Third new feature, and this is absolutely important, is the new way to split manufacturing orders. Now we can use a batch size to do it. So, for instance, let's go back here and create a new manufacturing order to produce desk combination, and I will produce 25. If I'm not producing the 25 at once, what I can do is to split this manufacturing order. It was already the case before. But now, see that we have this concept here of batch size. What is the difference in the end? Before, I was just saying how many manufacturing orders I would like to have after splitting. And then imagine that I want to split in two. I would have here 2 lines, and instead of 25, Odoo would divide 12.5, 12.5. If you are producing something in kilos or in liters, no problem to work with decimals, but when it comes to units, like the example I have here, was a bit weird, and then I was forced to come here and adapt the quantities to round. But again, it's not only about rounding the quantities, it's important here to introduce this concept of batch size. Because imagine, to produce desk combinations, to make the most of my resources, instead of producing 25, I would produce 20, so this is my batch to optimize my production. And then see that now Odoo is already suggesting how many manufacturing orders I will have, and the quantities are adapted according to my batch size. And maybe let's say that the 5 remaining quantities I will produce on Friday, and after splitting and producing, I could even merge these 5 units with a future manufacturing order that is coming. Spoiler alert, for version 19, we are unifying the concept of batch size in a bill of materials, because now I can add the batch size here manually when I'm splitting, and I also have the batch size when I use the MPS. So instead of having 2 separate places, we are going to unify it. All right, moving on. Still in 18.3, we revamped the UX when we opened the BOM overview, and also we changed something about the work center capacity. Let's see first the BOM overview. So I will select here the drawer, and when I click, now we only see the essential information to understand this bill of materials. It's cleaner because I see only the products and the operations, the quantities and the time, and the respective cost. So I can see here that this would cost $218. But we didn't remove the other features. It's just a matter of understanding how it works now, because if I want to see everything about forecast, I switch to the forecast mode, and then I see exactly the same information as we could see before. But the difference is that now it's just this concept of view. I can do the back and forth, but before we had to select some columns, so it was, well, okay, but not ideal. It's much easier now. And about the work center that I mentioned, the work center capacity, before we had a capacity here in the general information tab. Just before I continue, what is capacity in the end? Here we say that this work center has capacity 1, for instance, because I can process, I cannot do parallel things in this work center for the same manufacturing order. Maybe to give a different example. Imagine that I need to produce 10 units and my capacity is 1, and to produce these 10 units, I need 1 hour in this work center. So if I plan a work order here, Odoo will book 1 hour. So if I increase my capacity from 1 to 2, then if I need to produce the same 10 units, In the same manufacturing order, Odoo understands that I can process 5 and 5 in parallel, and then instead of booking 1 hour, Odoo books 30 minutes. Okay, just to clarify what is the concept of capacity here. But it's always for the same manufacturing order, okay? I cannot put 2 manufacturing orders in parallel here when it comes to capacity. Now we assume that we have capacity 1 for the work center, unless, if I have a different one, higher than 1, I need to come here in product capacities. I can add a new line. And if it's just a general capacity, which is higher than 1, I just keep the product field empty. And then I say that for all products in this work center, my capacity is 2. And it's the same idea as it was before. If I have specific capacities for specific products, I can keep adding here, and then Odoo will calculate the time to book this work center accordingly. All right, let's move on. Work order revamp. I will go here in the database to show how it works now. I will produce again the drawer. And when I confirm, I have my operations. Well, previously we were, let's say, completely linked to the action of starting and stopping here the work order to change the status, which is also the case. It's fine, it's normal. I can start, it moves to in progress. I finish, it goes to finished. But now we are introducing more flexibility to manage the status, because in the end, in real life, many things can happen, and I'm not forced to always start and stop to change the status. So if I click here on this button, I can switch from to do to blocked, let's say, from blocked to in progress, and then the time starts automatically. I can move from in progress back to do, to canceled. Oops, it was a mistake. I moved back to do. So it covers a lot of scenarios. The only thing I cannot do is if I move to done, then I cannot come back. But if it was a mistake, I still can open the work order and fix the information here. Okay, so this is a much easier way to manage work orders in 18.3. And finally, the last new feature about manufacturing, which is more about quality in the end, is the possibility to use failure location for all quality control points, no matter which type they are. Let's go here to the database to explain this in a better way. When we are in quality, we have the control points, and we have 3 options: per operation, per product, and per quantity. Now in Odoo 18.2, you have the possibility to use here the failure location for all these 3 options. I will also explain how it works, what is the difference between operation, product, and quantity, because some people get confused about the difference. So we see in a practical example how it works. So let's create a quality control point, inspection, and I will do it first per quantity, and I will do a control every time I buy table legs, and when I receive, I want to check if everything is okay. If it's not okay, I will send to a specific location. I will call here QC, and QC goes underneath warehouse. Okay, I will not change routes, I will not change the logistic part of the flow. It's more about the quality control point. Then let's buy the table leg. I will create here a purchase to, let's say, Gemini Furniture. Let's buy 10 table legs. Once I confirm, I have my reception. And here, let's imagine that our supplier sent the 10 units, but in 2 different lots. So lot A, I have 7, and lot B, 3 units. Okay. When I trigger my quality checks, as the quantity is the most granular option, Odoo is asking, check the 7 units that belong to lot A. Okay, fine, they are good. And now check the 3 units that belong to lot B. So in this case, lot B is not good. I will fail the quality check. Now I have the option to select the failure location. In my case, I created only one, but I could have several, and then I choose here in which one I want to send. And once I validate my reception, as you can see, I have 2 moves, one to the quality control and the other one goes to stock. So this is a quality control point per quantity. Let's change this configuration. So instead of quantity, I will do it per product, right? I will keep the rest as it is. I will do the same. So another purchase, buying the same product from the same supplier, same quantities, and I will receive exactly in the same way. So supplier sent some units, 7 again, in lot A, and 3 units in lot B. See that now when I trigger my quality check, Odoo is not asking me to check lot by lot. It's just saying check the table legs, okay? In this case, I will fail, just to show here that we can use the failure location now in this situation. And when I confirm and validate, you see that both lots were sent to my QC location. I'm not saying that this is the best or the worst, but it's more flexible. You have many possibilities because maybe in some industries you want, even though lot A was good, you want to double check because lot B was not. So instead of having 2 quality checks here, I validated only 1. Okay, then you have also this possibility, makes the process much more flexible, as I said. And the last option here is to use a quality control point per operation. And here I would just change a little bit. Container inspection, and instead of checking only the table leg, I want to check everything that is office furniture. The rest I will keep in the same way. Then let's go to purchase, and I will buy again the table legs. Oops, let me do something different. I will, instead of buy only the table leg, I will also buy some ply layer and one more, let's say the wear layer. That's fine. Now, when I receive, I will just repeat the same exercise. Lot A, 7 units. Lot B, 3 units for the table leg. And then when I trigger my quality check, now is different because it's not lot by lot. It's not product per product, but it's only one quality check about the whole document. So imagine that I'm receiving here a container. The container has some humidity, I don't know, and you want to send everything to failure location. So I will fail, confirm, and when I validate, I see that here in my moves, all lines were sent to QC, okay? It's a very nice way to manage quality checks, especially because we can add the failure location. Now you might be wondering, okay, but this is a webinar about manufacturing. Then let's do one example using a manufacturing. I will activate here in my settings by products. And let's say that I have here in my bill of materials, every time I produce the wood panel, I need to cut some wood, and I get some leftovers. So I will create a byproduct here called wood leftover. And I manage these in kilos because I can weight these leftovers and sell them afterwards. And let's say that to produce one wood panel, I get 100 grams of wood leftover. Then I will go to quality, and I will create a control point per operation. So inspection, quality control per operation. In this case is the wood panel, operation manufacturing, and here I want to send to QC in case it fails. Very good. Now, when I go to manufacturing and I decide to produce, let's say 10 wood panels, you see that Odoo is calculating that I will have 1 kilo of wood left over. Good. Just to go straight to the point, let's say that I produced the 10 wood panels, but when I trigger my quality checks, something is not good in all the panels or in some, but if the wood panel is not good, probably the leftover will not be good as well. Then in this case, if I fail this quality check, I have the option to select my failure location. And when I confirm and I close my manufacturing order, you can see that both the finished product and the byproduct, they both go to the same location. Okay? This is all about manufacturing, but now let's see what we have for shop floor. The first improvement is the option in 18.2 to change the behavior when it comes to closing the last operation. Before, we could close the last operation, and then Odoo was always displaying a button to close also the manufacturing order. Now we can change this behavior. So we go here to inventory, we open the operation type manufacturing, and you see first that we have a new tab, shop floor. We can check this box, something that I mentioned previously, if I want to display lots or serial numbers when I'm using the shop floor. And this is the field I'm talking about right now. If I want to avoid users closing the last operation to also close the manufacturing order, I just uncheck the box. And let's see how it works. But before, just to mention, because the second and main improvement that we have here in shop floor in 18.3 is the brand new user experience. Okay, let's go to the database and I will show you. So first, I will create a manufacturing order to produce the table. Yeah, this one. I selected this one on purpose because, as you know, I'm using demo data. And for the table, we have a lot of quality checks. So this is why the table is our product. And finally, when I open the shop floor, as you can see, the welcome screen is different. It's asking me to activate the work centers. So the action is the same. But as you can see, the UX is completely different. And it's more user-friendly, cleaner. So I select here my work centers and I confirm. Then what we see here, you already noticed that it looks different, it's cleaner, and we have the buttons on top as they were here before. We removed some unnecessary filters, so we only have the needed ones. We also have here this button to refresh, to reload data, or to close. But now we also have the option to install the app. Before, this was suggested when we were opening the shop floor. Now it's here. And something interesting now is that we have the left bar displayed all the time. Before it was hidden, we should unfold it. Some people were not finding it easy. Then it's here all the time, but it's not only a matter of displaying or not, because now the main idea is that we select all the employees that will work here with shop floor. So now even the UX is much better now. I can select more than one employee at once, so it is super good. And then all of them are available here. And if I'm using a PIN code, for instance, so the logic here is that I have all my employees listed here. If I want to start an operation and I have a PIN, it's only when I click on the user that Odoo will ask me to add a PIN. So this is a bit different. And now, as I'm here logged in as Mitchell admin, I will select my work center assembly 1 to process this manufacturing order to produce the table. And something important to mention as well is that I never assigned myself to process this work order. But now, as we start a work order, because here I have several, but I'm working in this one, the 12, so I don't want to see other stuff. It's easier now because we are assigning the user, the employee, to this work order. So this is why we can select what we need to do, start, and then I can move to this button, and then I see from my work orders, which by default filter only the ones you are assigned, the tasks that you are doing. So it's interesting to work in this way. It's a cleaner view if you see only your work orders. That being said, Odoo is now highlighting what I need to do next. See that the first action here is to generate the serial number for this finished product. Then I can click here, of course, and Odoo creates. But just to explain that, you see now we have two buttons. The I button is always to display what is supposed to be done. And the other button is the action. So here, take a picture. I will take a picture and I move to the third step, which Odoo is asking me to do now. The register consumption, as you can see, Odoo is displaying here the lot that was reserved for this product. If I want to change quantities, for instance, I can click on the pencil and then I move on. This is just an instruction. Again, I read what I need to do and I move on. Interesting, also the possibility to undo the action. So if by mistake I validated this, I can come back, but fine, let's move on. Then we have quality checks. I read what I'm supposed to do. I have the two buttons here. We still have that same logic. If I click on the middle here, we assume that it passed, but of course, we have the option to fail if needed. Then the rest is quite the same, so Odoo is saying me now to measure the angle, then to validate that I consumed other components, print the labels, and as I just explained, I removed the option to close the manufacturing order after doing the last operation. In this case, I have only one operation, therefore this is the last. So when I click here in Mark as done, I will just close the operation without closing the manufacturing order. Okay? So the rest, all the functionalities are still the same. As you can see here, we still have the possibility to create quality alerts, maintenance, and just one little difference is that now the option to register production is also here in this window. Okay, before it was displayed directly on the card, and just to make the card a bit cleaner, it's now here in the option. All right, and that's it. Now we just need a minute to set up here Mathieu. He's coming, so if you have questions, feedbacks, please don't hesitate, send them over the chat, and we continue in a minute. Welcome, Mathieu.
Hi, Lucas.
Well, if you want to.
And hey, everyone, I guess. So I'm Mathieu Germain, the product owner of the MRP apps at Odoo. And as Lucas suggested before, please feel free to ask any questions that you have, and I will do my best to answer them.
All right, we have some questions here. We have the first one from Powell. I hope I pronounced correctly. Shop floor view. Is it possible to sort views of tiles, for example, per incoming material or per final product?
So here you're talking about the standard view of the cards in the shop floor, I guess. Here by default, we don't allow you to change their size. That would have to be a custom development. However, if you want to filter by specific final product, as I see in the question here, don't forget that you can apply some custom filters in the shop floor as well. You can also save them so that if you want to go back to those pre-defined filters from the shop floor, once you're using it, it would be quite easy.
All right. And we have a question from Ethiopia. So could you maybe mention what are the main differences between version 17 and 18, even though we are now talking about 18.2 and 3, but if you can resume.
Well, I think that's a very broad question. There have been a lot of changes between 17 and 18. I think maybe we can skip that question for now because it would take too much time. But if there is a specific module or feature that you want to address, just don't hesitate to be a bit more precise.
Okay. Then another question from Pavel. In the manufacturing orders view, if we work with tablets, can we block the width of a column? Because sometimes column product is too short and we need to change it to see the full name.
Okay, so I guess it's similar to the first question from Powell. So again, here we can't change the size of the tiles. What we did do is true that we didn't always display the full product name in the shop floor. We changed that, so now I think it's 18.2 or 18.3. no matter the length of the length of the product name, you'll always see the full product name in the shop floor.
All right. And another question about calculation in terms of costing. So can cost be calculated only by bill of material information? So for instance, if I put 30 minutes, but the operator clicks start and stop, and it takes in the end 35 minutes, instead of calculating 35 minutes, he wants to see only the cost, which is the theoretical cost of 30 minutes. Is it possible to?
All right, so not in 18.3, but actually it's something that we've just pushed to 18.4, which should be coming out on Monday, this Monday. And now when you create an operation on your bill of material, you define one of two ways to calculate the cost of the operation in the final manufacturing order cost. So you either base it on what you say in the BOM. So if you want to fix it, like you say here, to 30 minutes, because this is what you estimate the cost to be, then no matter what your employee will timesheet in the work order, we will take those 30 minutes, and then you still have the real time mode that we used by default until today, if you want to use that.
That's great. Then a question from Ard. Are these status changes in the work orders stored in a log?
I guess he's referring to the fact to what you showed in the presentation, where you can easily change now manually the statuses of the work orders. Yeah. It's a good question. No, because in the work orders at the moment there is no chatter, actually, which is usually where we store changes in an object in Odoo. But it's a good feedback, and we will consider it.
All right, and he also asked here if we fail a lot when doing the quality check, will the complete lot fail or just some products of the lot?
So if you fail a lot, it's the whole lot that is failed. And don't forget that if that happens and you are worried that this lot might be already perhaps reserved for ongoing productions or for deliveries and so on, don't forget that if you go on the lot on your form view, you have a small location, smart button, which will tell you all of the locations it's currently being reserved at, so that if you want to go and correct those things or unreserve that lot from ongoing pickings, it would be quite easy.
Okay. Talking about quality, so is the quality feature, I guess the point that we explained here about the failure location, only available in 18.2 or also included in 18.3? I guess this one is in 18.2.
Yeah, that's it.
Consequently in 18.3 as well. Then we have another one about quality. So why the failure location movement is in the same movement with quality check if it goes often to other location than store? Not sure if I understood the question.
I'm not sure I understand the question either.
Yeah, if you can elaborate a bit more. Who asked here is Rod. Then we have another one here. Is it possible to connect quality control points in shop floor view, such as operator clicking start and stop, and then he must confirm that he checked some points from the checklist?
Yeah, so indeed, so quality checks are fully integrated in the shop floor, and it's what you showed for the manufacture of the table. All of these steps have to be performed before you can close the work order. Okay.
And then we have one more question here, and I think that is the last one. Will the capacity specification only be available for individual product selection and not for product categories?
Good question. At the moment, it's still only on the product, so not on product categories. It's still capacities are still product specific and not category specific. Okay.
Well, that was the last question. Then I think we are good. We can finish the session. Thank you so much for being here. And if you have any other question, any other feedback, please, you are invited to come to the experience in September and talk to us.
Thank you.